Hello, everybody. This is Dr. Cole. Saturday night, July 6th. This will be the message for week 2 for Humanities 2333 Philosophy of Life for the summer 2024 term. Well, we got messages 1 and 1A out last week. Hope everyone saw both of those. We had a little bit of confusion about our announcement for the extra credit quiz. It will be Monday, July 8th. Most of you all will be seeing this on Sunday the 7th. That quiz will be on Monday the 8th. Available all day for 24 hours. And everybody, there'll be 5 3-point questions. And you get extra credit. Even if you only get one correct, you get 3 extra credit points for every one you get correct. So you can get as many as 15 points. You won't be penalized for wrong answers. You'll get 3 extra credit points for each one you get correct. You will be offered 5 statements that are examples of informal fallacies, and then you have a multiple choice quiz. You'll be given 4 alternatives, and you will be asked to choose the correct informal fallacy that statement illustrates. So, I believe we've set that up. I don't know exactly what the time limit on that is. I can double check that while we're sitting here very quickly. I might mention, everybody, we sent you that little exercise. Can you spot the informal fallacies? And the answers are at the end of the Unit 2 class notes. Had to edit one of those because Bill Walton recently passed away. Those who follow basketball will be aware of that. He was mentioned in a news item 40 years ago that was turned into an example of an informal fallacy. So we had to edit our item, but that item is still included in there. Now let me double check and see. Let's see here. Quizzes. All right, we've set a 5-minute time limit on that. Once you start the quiz, you have 5 minutes to complete, so 1 minute per question. So, we'll have that available to you for 24 hours on Monday. Now then, everybody, the written assignment is coming up on the 17th. Let's see, that is a week from Wednesday. So we want everybody to get a head start on that. I received 1 paper already. With a paper that early, I could accept an expanded later draft if you wanted to expand on the work you turned in early. Anyway, everybody, read through the instructions carefully. We have a document of about a page we sent out describing that assignment. It's not really a research paper, although it might help you to do a little research. You are basically being asked to reflect on how you see the world, and would you call yourself a Platonist or an Aristotelian? So you'll need to be getting started on that this coming week, the due date being the following week, with the midterm exam coming up about a week after that. Now everybody, there's going to be extra credit quiz 1 on Monday, and there will be a second such quiz later in the week on chapters 1 and 3. And once you take both those extra credit quizzes, you'll have a good idea what my test items are like coming into the midterm exam coming up, I believe, on the 24th. All right then. For this week on the syllabus, we have Unit 3 on Plato and Aristotle, which will be helpful for you to look at before you move on to work on that first written assignment. There's a couple of documents that have been posted on the course website in the modules area under Unit 3, Plato and Aristotle. One is a set of notes I took from the great historian of philosophy, W.K.C. Guthrie and his observations on Aristotle, which may be helpful to you. Now, in the class notes on Plato and Aristotle for Unit 3, mention that the two of them espoused on any number of issues, including social and political philosophy, a couple of points we should make. We should not speak of them as though they were diametrically opposed to each other. Their perspectives were somewhat different and have been distinguished as Platonic or Aristotelian throughout history. From among the many issues they discuss, what we're most interested in having you think about is what do they have to say about the relationship between form and matter? They were trying to address the question of how something could change and yet be the same, such as an infant growing up into a child, adolescent, and then adult, but we call that person the same individual all along. How can something change and yet remain the same? That problem was overcome by distinguishing between form and matter, but Plato and Aristotle have very different ideas about form and matter. That's an important distinction to be drawn between them. Plato often is described as a proto-Christian, whereas Aristotle perhaps takes a more this-worldly approach, you might say. Now, neither one of them had encountered Christianity, which would not come along for 5 centuries or so after they lived, so it's hard to classify them or anticipate what their attitudes would have been toward Christianity. Plato often is described as anticipating Christianity, but much later in the history of philosophy, St. Thomas Aquinas does try to reconcile Aristotelianism and Christianity with a fair amount of success, most historians of philosophy would say. Okay. So, see what you think of the material that we present, and I hope that will be helpful to you in doing your first written assignment due the 17th. Now, for the rest of the week, we have Unit 4 on the syllabus, which is quite a lengthy set of notes, and we suggested you put some of it off till the following week, because that set of notes is so long, and the notes for Units 5 and 6 next week are not quite as long. So you might break up the Unit 4 notes and save the last half to 1/3 of them, perhaps, for the following week, or take it all on if you want to. It's the most lengthy set of notes we have during the term, and we're trying to address the issue of rationalism and empiricism, or how is it that we come to know anything at all? How can we say we're justified or warranted in saying that we know something? And the two great positions on that are rationalism and empiricism. Now, there are many thinkers we can discuss. I want to try to confine it to, by and large, 4 of them: Descartes, Locke, Hume, and Kant. Okay? A Frenchman, an Englishman, a Scot, and a German. Now, to be a rationalist is to maintain that you can come to know something without any sense experience, simply by reflection. And that's what René Descartes attempted to do. He's very famous for having made the statement, "I think, therefore I am." I think, therefore I am. He determined that he could not doubt his own existence. And he was warranted in the warranted belief that he did indeed exist, and he could arrive at that conclusion simply by reflection. So he would be described as the first great rationalist. Okay? Locke then comes along, John Locke, Englishman, and says, no. The mind is a blank slate on which experience writes. And that's sense experience. He was very insistent you could not come to know anything except by means of sense experience. Now, that makes Locke an empiricist. David Hume, the Scotsman, was another great empiricist, although you can call Hume maybe more of a skeptic than an empiricist. Okay. Hume believed Locke was mistaken because Locke seemed to draw a one-on-one association between our sense experience and an object existing out there in the world, shall we say. But we know our sense experience can be wrong. Our senses can be deceived. And what you find with David Hume is that he concludes it's very, very difficult to say that you're warranted in knowing anything at all. So he goes down in history as the great skeptic. And he is the favorite philosopher of many professors, instructors that you will encounter in English-speaking philosophy departments across the United States and elsewhere. So we can look upon Hume as an empiricist, but also a skeptic. Then Immanuel Kant is going to come along, and he's going to try to resolve this issue between the rationalists and empiricists in a very elegant way, and it's widely accepted that he achieved a genuine advance in philosophy on this issue by insisting that there's both an empiricist and a rational component to all knowledge. Sense experience is the occasion for knowledge, but Kant believes our minds have to be set up in a certain way so as to be able to process that sense experience. And that's the rational component of knowledge. You could say that he believed our minds were pre-programmed with a certain kind of software that allowed us to interpret sense experience, especially in terms of cause and effect and substance and quality, or substance and accident. Okay, cause and effect, and then the substance, say the apple, has many qualities. It's red, it's crisp, and so on and so forth. Okay, we have accidents or qualities that we attribute to the substance of a thing. All right, so that in a nutshell is our account of the debate between the rationalists and the empiricists, and there's a quite lengthy set of class notes there that you might want to begin this week and complete next week. So we have an extra credit quiz Monday. We're finished by now with our first discussion that I'll try to grade and get the grades to you. Extra credit quiz Monday. Another extra credit quiz coming up later in the week, more than likely Friday. Written assignment due the 17th. Midterm exam the 24th. All right, so get started on Plato and Aristotle and on the rationalists and empiricists. Hope you'll try to take a shot at the quiz Monday and the second quiz later in the week, and we'll talk to you again a week from now at this time.